What is up, everyone? It's that time of year where I start doing videos where I talk to myself and no one watches. That's okay. Hopefully, it at least helps me out, and it helps out one or two other people. That's cool as well. This is the first draft I did, and I've done a couple more since this one, and this one's, a week old or something like that. Things are changing rather rapidly right now. But as I was going through this draft, I was trying to figure out, was there anything I really liked or anything that I didn't like, um and then try to justify it and then talk about it with you guys. And while going through this draft where I had the nine spot, the one area that I found most interesting here was tight end. As we go through, you'll see that I have no tight ends, no tight ends, no tight ends until we get all the way down to the 16th round. And then I got a couple tight ends right there. And I was looking at this and I kind of felt good about it, but I wasn't sure. I hit up four of them, and that's a little unique because most of the time people are doing three. In fact, if you look at this draft, let's see, there was one other team that did four, but they did four with a Mark Andrews early on, and then a Dallas Goedert early on, and then two more after that. That's I don't know how I feel about that one right there. Um, that might explain why I ended up with who I ended up with as my four. But I got four late round tight ends, and I wanted to try to make sense of it, see if I liked it or not. And so what I did was I actually compiled all the tight ends, put some notes on there. I was going to go through that. Now, um, long story short, though, I think I do like how I constructed this team in the end with the four tight ends at the very end of the draft. Um, what I'm finding is I think I want to be trying to hit the early tight ends if I can, at least be at weight, if not overweight, with those ones. Those are mainly Bowers, McBride, and Kittle over here. And then once you get past Kittle, I think I want to be at or underweight with a lot of these guys in the middle. It has to do with the players that are around them. And then once we get past the guys that are in the middle, which kind of falls around like about over here with Evan Ingram or so, that's when um, that's when I feel like your opportunity cost of their positions might start to decrease, and then hitting on tight ends might make a little bit more sense. Probably being overweight with these guys because I've avoided so many people in the middle. So I went and two things I did was number one, I compiled all the tight ends. I put some notes here on them, and I actually even put like some target ownership possibilities on here as well. Not that I'm going to hit these perfectly, but just trying to think through what I want to do. And you can see here that I do have these three here. Want to hit them at least at equal ownership or higher. 8.33 would be your kind of with the market. Anything above 8.33, you're above the market. Anything below 8.33, you're fading them compared to the market, basically. And so you can see I have Bowers, I have McBride, I have Kittle at or above the market. Um, Bowers, super expensive, but I don't think I want to be fading him. So, I have him at least for the 8.33. You can see starting with Sam Laporta and then go all the way down here to Jake Ferguson. Everyone here I have either at market or below market, and trying to maybe justify why I have someone at market versus below market a little bit. And then everyone from here on out, for the most part, is either at market or probably above market in a lot of cases, just because if I'm fading all these guys in the middle, or at least I'm not overdrafting these guys in the middle, I'm going to probably have to overdraft some of these guys at the end. So that's kind of the basic philosophy here. Let's talk about maybe which ones I think I should have, at equal weight versus underweight and so on. And then we're going to jump into a board and talk about why, like when you can maybe strategically target some of those players as well. At least that's how I'm thinking about it right now. So uh, first off, I have Sam Laporta at underweight, you can see here. And the reason being is that change in offensive coordinator, we don't know what's going to happen there. More importantly, we realize that Sam Laporta is very TD dependent, and he's not going to get an overabundance of targets, which is going to make it hard for him to have an overabundance of yards, which is going to mean he's going to have to rely on those TDs. And you're paying a lot here for someone that might have a capped ceiling if they're not going to get a lot of yards to go with all those TDs. And we don't even know if he's going to get the TDs either, because there's a lot of other people that can be catching the ball, both short and medium range. I have TJ Hawkinson at equal weight, just because you can draft him a little bit later, and interesting player with maybe a three-person target tree. Him, Addison, Jefferson. Underweight on Kelce, mainly due to age, decline, that kind of stuff. He's going to play now, which is nice, and so he's actually going up in ADP, which is not nice if you're trying to target him. Mark Andrews also below, and Jonnu Smith below. Mark Andrews I have below because we don't know what his role in the offense is going to be, and we don't know if he's going to be on Baltimore or not, and those things could change everything. Even in the playoffs, when Mark Andrews seemed to be kind of picking up his role the second half of the year a little bit, in the playoffs he was essentially like a non-factor for the most part. And so I don't know if I want to be heavily investing in someone unless, I'm stacking him or something like that. And that's where you get the 6.25% probably. You're stacking him, bring backs, that kind of stuff. Jonnu right now at 6.25% because he's never done it before. He's 29, and this is his first year actually having an awesome year. Now, if Miami brings back the same offense during the preseason, I reserve the right to bump this up a lot. I probably would bump this up a lot, actually. But if, they aren't going to be throwing a ton of screen passes to their running backs and tight ends, that means that Jonnu's not going to be getting that same volume because he's probably not going to be a target earner on down the field plays as much as a target earner on designed, short plays, that kind of stuff. If they change the offense, does that mean that his target share goes down a ton? Warren Njoku I have at equal weight. Warren I have equal weight just because he's a rookie. He's unknown. You probably don't want to fade him, even though he's kind of in this middle area where there's a lot of other opportunity to draft. David Njoku, he's been doing it for a couple of years already. And so I'm surprised he's at where he is. It's probably because they don't know who their QB is yet, so people aren't taking him. I probably got to take Njoku more. In fact, I could see myself bumping this up to 10% for Njoku or something like that. You just got to find the right times to do it, and I haven't actually done that so far. I haven't drafted him yet. That being said, I haven't even drafted 12 teams yet. So yeah, Dallas Goedert, bunch of years in a row of decline in his production. And he's also at the age point where he's not at the steepest decline, but he is in the decline phase based on age. So declining numbers for a bunch of years. Age says he should be declining as well. Offense that doesn't seem to feature him. An offense that is willing to run the ball over and over and over again. And also, he might be on the trade block as well. So if he's on another team, is he in a better situation? I don't know. He's not in a good situation here, though. So, in my opinion, these players here, you can kind of say whatever you want, why they're a good player, why they're a bad player. You could make up stories either way based on draft capital, based on their offense, based on what they have or haven't done. I have them all at under or equal weight, like I was saying. The ones that I have at equal weight are the ones that there's less information on. Tucker Kraft, high RAS player, I think an unknowingly high RAS player compared to other tight ends who might be in a better situation this year if there's less people to get targets. Loveland, the unknown, right? You don't want to fade it. You want to at least be there. And then the rest of them, I feel like we kind of know what's going on for the most part. We can hope one way or the other way, but we kind of know what's going on. And based on where they're being drafted, again, there might be other players that help your lineups more that you want to take more often. If we go down from here, the rest of the players, starting with Evan Engram, I have everyone for the most part, with a couple exceptions, at weight or above weight. Basically, I feel like by the time you get to Evan Engram, and he might get steamed up more, you never know based on what just happened with the trade. Once you get to Evan Engram, the rest of the players here, I think you bypassed most of the quarterbacks that you're trying to target. And at this point in time, you can fill your roster in with whatever you want to. And maybe it's tight ends at this point in time that you want to fill your roster in with. So go ahead and do it. I think as you go further and further down this list, I think the easier and easier it is to take the players. I think when it gets really easy to take these players is when you get down to like the Mike Gesicki, definitely Cole Kmet too. Like I think like right here is where it gets super, super simple to start taking these players, and I'm pretty darn intrigued to take them. Mike Gesicki is maybe going to be essentially the third wide receiver on the team, even though it's a tight end. And it sounds like their defense is going to be getting worse potentially. So that sounds interesting. And then Cole Kmet, just because a rather athletic guy as well, that is going to be in a new offense. Maybe he can finally get utilized. And then we can keep on talking through the rest of the players. But that's kind of my strategy a little bit. Hit on the guys late because I'm not hitting on all these guys in the middle. Now, when do we want to hit on some of these guys in the middle? I did put together a draft board. It just takes all the players and puts them based on their ADP. It's not strategically putting people based on how many quarterbacks they have or tight ends or anything like that. You can see this team right here has 1, 2, 3, 4 tight ends pretty early. So again, it's not trying to strategically add people. It's just based on ADP only. I've highlighted all the tight ends blue, and I've also highlighted 2, 4, 6 of the quarterbacks. The reason why I highlighted these 6 quarterbacks is I think it can help us determine when we want to target some, not all, but at least some of those tight ends that are in the middle rounds that we have at below weight in some cases. And let's just kind of go through these. Number 1, I have Patrick Mahomes right here. Now, you can argue whether Patrick Mahomes is a good pick right here or not. He has fallen back, so he feels good for that reason, but he still seems rather high compared to what he did last year. So again, you could argue whether it's a good picker or not a good pick. But what I would say is that you can be looking at Patrick Mahomes and trying to maybe see when you can even push Kelce around the turn. So let's say, for example, you see that Bowers and or probably not McBride sometimes, but probably not, but like Bowers and Kittle and Laporta are all on the right side of you. Does that mean that Kelce probably makes it all the way around the turn so you can partner him with Patrick Mahomes 1 pick later? And then in that way, the price of Kelce is a little bit more interesting and you got another player in between. I got Jared Goff here also highlighted. And the reason why I have Jared Goff highlighted is because of Sam Laporta over here. Now, Sam Laporta actually is getting steamed up a bit. Sam Laporta, so is Kenneth Walker, by the way, too. Sam Laporta was a little farther to the further into this 5th round, and but he's here. It still makes sense. I do think that you can be looking at this and going, okay, if Sam Laporta falls a little bit past ADP, or maybe even at ADP, I look at my team and I go, oh wow, I took let's see, maybe I took a running back at 7 because one of them fell here. And then in the 2nd round, I took Devon Achane because he fell. And now in the 3rd round, like if I have some kind of start that's very heavy on running backs, or for example, maybe I take Terry McLaurin in the 3rd round, and then Jaden Daniels doesn't make it back to me or something like that. I might not have that many stacking options, and I might not even have a tight end yet either. In a situation where I don't have many great stacking options and I don't have a tight end yet, it might make sense to take Sam Laporta. especially if maybe the Amon-Ra owner already um, has one of those tight ends early. Then it's even more likely that Jared Goff makes it back to you. And you can even push him, like, you could maybe try to push him around to the next round or something like that. He'll definitely make it back to you here in the 7th round, though, too. So if you wanted to take him early. So I do think there's an option there. And then a strategic way to take Sam Laporta. The next one we have highlighted quarterback-wise is Bo Nix, because he now has a new addition to his team, and Evan Ingram right here. Now, I said Evan Ingram was kind of on that cusp where most of the quarterbacks that are interesting are gone at that point in time. So I guess I maybe cheat a little bit, but you can kind of see that they do align on the same side of the draft board. So if you deem that you don't have, you don't have any stacking options and you want to open up another one, but kind of do it by grabbing the QB first, you could do that with Denver. They have a lot of players that are after. So I could see a lot of teams looking at Bo Nix. Bo Nix can even fall a little bit, right? This is his average draft position here, round 8. You can see him falling to the end of round 8, early round 9. And I think he's a really interesting pick right there. Next, we have Jordan Love. Jordan Love is kind of in the middle of the board, and Tucker Kraft is in the middle of the board. What I've seen myself doing is seeing Jordan Love fall a little bit and grabbing Jordan Love over here, and then grabbing Tucker Kraft as well. I've also seen, one of these two players fall significantly, or both of them fall significantly also. But I do think there's lots of opportunity where you can kind of evaluate the board and go, okay, this is time where I can take Jordan Love, and most likely Kraft will fall back to me. If he doesn't, not the end of the world. Again, there's other Green Bay Packers actually as well. So Jordan Love and Bo Nix are kind of similar, where a lot of their players are after them, minus just one receiver in both their cases. Both interesting picks. Next, we have Dak Prescott. You can see here that Dak is at the end of the 10th round, and Jake Ferguson is close to the end of the 12th round. So there's a good chance that he kind of makes it back. Maybe you don't take Dak in the 10th, but he falls to early in the 11th or middle of the 11th, then there's even a better chance to get Ferguson on the wrap or on the way back around the other way. So I do like Dak, and that gives you a reason to take Jake Ferguson. Last but not least, we got Penix and Pitts. I mean, there's no probably higher upside combination than Penix and Pitts. You can see they're both in the middle of the draft right here, Penix and Pitts right here. So another player where if you need a tight end and you need a QB, this might be another option for you right here. Similar to some other players, I think Mooney maybe goes around this range too. Where is Mooney? Or does Mooney go before? Where is Mooney at these days? Right here. So you'd have to take Mooney before you take Penix if you want to do that. So really, when you get Penix, last call for the most part is Kyle Pitts if you want to stack after. So that's my strategy on tight end. Focus on these top guys. Avoid these guys in the middle unless you can strategically find a reason to take them. And then I'm probably hitting on the guys at the end because of that. Here's my draft again. Here's how I did that. And I do, in the end, like that I ended up doing this the way that I did. Didn't have a chance at Bowers. Didn't have a chance at McBride. Didn't have a chance at Kittle. I passed on Laporta for Adams, who was falling in this draft. He goes much earlier now, but he was falling in this draft, so I took Adams. I could see myself taking Laporta here as well, but I like Olave, I like Addison. So, and another reason why I wouldn't take Laporta is because I had other stacking options. All my players still were available to grab their QBs at this point in time, later on in the draft if I wanted to. Let's see here. Who else? Then what did I do? I passed on Andrews. Great idea. Again, I could see myself taking Hawkinson right here. but Judkins was also falling, so either one of those players were good picks. I think Judkins' ADP is now getting, is falling or it's going higher. So hindsight, maybe Hawkinson's the better pick here because I can get Judkins later on in the future, I think. But either way, that's why I did it. I passed on Jonnu. Now, Jonnu hindsight would have been an amazing pick here because I have Achane and I I ended up with Tua way late as well. That being said, um, at the time I didn't expect it to happen, so I passed on Jonnu, Kelsey, I don't know, Mahomes, passed on Warren, passed on Joku, mainly because their ADP is way over on this side, and I didn't see the reason to grab them over here. Filled out my wide receivers, filled out my QBs with the falling Tua with not the greatest stack, and then I stacked Stroud with Collins, which of course you can't get mad at that one. Filled out or tried to get some more running back depth considering I didn't have much going on here with just three of them, three good ones, or at least two good ones and a decent rookie. Just trying to give myself some upside here and hopefully some volume with Quorum. If there's one pick I think that I might have wanted to change, it might be this one right here. I think Wicks is a great pick at 177. I took Isaiah Bond. I think the reason I did it might have been because, and it's not bad. I think I did it maybe because there's a chance that he gets drafted by Houston, for example. Probably not Miami, but I guess maybe Miami. But Houston, while we know where Wicks is at, that being said, Wicks is probably going to be the better player, I'd imagine. And then once I got here to the 16th round, again, I just started hitting on my tight ends, Henry, Bannon, Chig, and Arroyo. I really wasn't looking at the time, but I do also like here that I got some division correlation. New England with my Houston stack and Tennessee with my Miami stack. I got that the right way, right? Is that the, let me just check really quick. Miami with New England. I'm not sure if I said it backwards or not, but I got New England with my Miami stack, and then I got Tennessee with my Houston stack. So there is a reason, I guess, in the end for why I took those two. And then I got two rookies here. So I'm basically hoping that Henry and Chig can hold down the fort at first with just decent scores, and then maybe one of these two come along and really kind of lift up my entire tight end group. Not a bad strategy, in my opinion, here, considering how strong the rest of my team is. Strong at wide receiver, strong at running back, and two QBs that I think are falling based on past performance / injury. But if you looked at what happened in their entire careers, I think you could make an argument for them going up higher than here. So pretty good QBs overall. And because I hit on all the other positions, again, something's got to give and a pretty interesting tight end room to give with. So that's my strategy on tight ends. That's a little bit how I did in this draft room. Let me know what you think, what I got right, or what you're doing differently. I'd love to hear that. And see you on the next one. Peace.